Planet Dolan.
From a vicious dog attack to a man in a creepy bunny mask, the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some of the best true stories from our subreddit about the scariest things we've experienced while home alone. I'm Pringle the One, and today I'll be your narrator. Number 10 was submitted by Aloseronreddit. One night, Gergak was home alone with his cat, sitting on the couch and watching TV. Just then, he heard a knock at the door. Gergak looked out the window and didn't see anybody, although he noticed that it just started to snow. As he was walking back to the living room, the knocking happened again. Gergak looked out the window once more, but didn't see anybody. He didn't even see any footprints in the fresh snow. He looked back at the TV before spotting something at another window which faced his backyard. Not able to fully make it out, Gergak went up to the window and saw footprints that led from the backyard to the driveway. That was when he saw a man walk up to the window and knock on it before writing, "Hello, I'm always watching," in the frost on the glass. Ever since that night, Gergak doesn't stay home alone. Number 9 was submitted by SheWhoLovesToDraw. Pecan was left home alone while her parents did some last-minute shopping for a 4th of July barbecue they were having. While watching TV, she heard something loud fall in the backyard. She looked out the window to see what had caused the commotion. The picnic table had been knocked over. Not knowing what to do, Pecan made sure the door was locked and looked back out the window, only to see a dark figure lurking in the bushes. Freaked out, she ran back to the living room and grabbed the phone. She sent her mom a text about what she had just seen. Then, Pecan heard the doorknob rattle on the back door. She ducked behind the couch, then heard someone knocking on the front door. Pecan sat perfectly still as the knocking continued. After a while, she went to look out the window on the door. When she pulled back the curtain, Pecan found herself looking into the face of a creepy mask. She screamed and hid in her bedroom until her parents came home, which was when she told her mom what happened. Her mom called the cops, but when they arrived, they couldn't find anything. The next day, Pecan and her family had the barbecue. During the celebration, Pecan noticed a man in the house on the other side of the fence watching the party. He did a bunny ears gesture behind his head before putting a finger to his lips to shush her. Number 8 was submitted by AnimeFreak9798. The scariest thing that happened to Derek when he was home alone was when he was outside with his 4 small dogs. He noticed they were growling at the dining room window. When he looked at the window, he saw a womanly figure dressed in all white standing in the dining room. The sight sent chills down his spine. The woman wore clothes that belonged in the 1800s. She also had black holes where her eyes would have been. Derek pulled out his smartphone, opened his Bible app, and read some verses out loud until the woman went away. That was when he took his dogs inside and went to his room. He stayed in his room for the rest of the night, even when his family members got home. A few days after, Derek came home and saw a ghostly figure with a demonic-looking face through the window. He also saw a pentagram drawn in some sort of brown substance. Derek was so scared that he threw up. Shortly after, Derek and his family moved away. Number 7 was submitted by Masky17. When Wolfgang was 12, his family lived next door to a family who had put up a huge fence. He often heard weird noises from his neighbor's yard. One day, Wolfgang was home alone and playing with the soccer ball in his backyard. Just then, a huge dog broke through the fence and ran at him. He screamed and tried to run away, but the dog sank its teeth into his leg. Wolfgang heard something break before screaming. The neighbor's kid immediately ran through the break in the fence and zapped the dog with a cattle prod. "Dad, get the shotgun!" the son yelled as he wrapped a chain around the dog's neck. That was when Wolfgang blacked out due to the pain. When he came to, he was in the hospital with his leg in a cast. It turned out that the family was arrested for holding dog fights. Number 6 was submitted by DarkSpike223. Sid was 21 back when him and his family lived in a bad area that had a lot of break-ins. One night, Sid's mom took his siblings to the store while Sid stayed home. After a while, he heard a noise coming from the living room. Thinking it was his mom, he went into the living room but saw 2 men who looked like they were on drugs. One of them said, "He saw us! Get him!" Sid ran into his mom's room, locked the door, and grabbed her revolver. Scared out of his mind, he aimed the gun at the door as the men kicked it down. When Sid fired the gun, the round hit the floor between them, scaring the man off. After they left, Sid called the police. Scared as hell, Sid was unable to sleep for 3 days. When he was eventually able to sleep, he kept having nightmares of those men standing at the foot of his bed. Number 5 was submitted by Intelligent Isaac. One time, Spinal Palm had to stay home because he had a fever. While his mother went out to get him some medicine, Spinal Palm decided to watch some porn. He was about to jerk off when a woman crawled through the window, holding a knife. She said,
"I want to join you."
Spinal Palm shouted, "Get the hell out of here!" The woman ran through the window while yelling,
"I shall return, my prince."
He never saw her again. Number 4 was submitted by CrazygoodgamingYT. Dolan was home alone one night, watching TV. Just then, he heard the back door open. Being 8 at the time, he was scared, but still decided to check it out. He went to the basement to get his baseball bat. When he went downstairs, he saw that his bat was gone. He turned around to see a person in a pig mask holding his bat. Dolan ran upstairs with the guy right behind him. He grabbed the phone and chucked it at the guy. That was when the guy pulled off the pig mask, and Dolan saw that it was his brother, Zaraganba, who decided to play a prank on him. It was a night that will always be burned in Dolan's memory. Number 3 was submitted by D-Master the King 646. When he was 11, James Shark was left home alone. While watching TV, he heard a noise coming from the basement. He went to see what it was and found 5 guys with guns. James Shark sprinted to his room, grabbed his phone, and crawled under his bed. He called 911 while the men looked for him. After a while, one of the men found James Shark and dragged him out from under the bed. He brought him downstairs where the other men were waiting. Luckily, the cops came at around the same time and arrested the men. It turned out that the men wanted to kill James Shark to get revenge on his dad. The men ended up being sent to prison. Number 2 was submitted by Prince Shireen. One night, Gooby and her sister Snoopy were eating pizza while watching TV. After the show, they went to get another slice of pizza and give their dog, Scott, some water. Just then, Scott began barking. Gooby and Snoopy rushed back into the living room to see what he was barking at. They saw a guy trying to break into the house. Gooby and Snoopy freaked out and called their dad, who was on his way home. While they waited for their dad, Gooby yelled at the guy, telling him to go away or she would let her dog outside. Then he screamed that the house actually belonged to him. When their dad got home, he told Gooby and Snoopy to grab Scott and go to the room. Once they went to the room, Gooby and Snoopy heard their dad yell at the guy, telling them to leave or he'd call the police. The guy kept insisting that it was his house, but their dad told him a second time to leave or he'd call the police. The guy eventually left, but when Gooby and Snoopy walked out of their room, they saw their dad on the couch holding a metal pipe. He stayed up for half the night, waiting for the guy to return. He never did. Number 1 was submitted by BlueEyedAvenger. Mimi was 14 when she was home alone one night, watching a movie. Just then, someone banged on her front door so hard that she thought it was going to break. She ran to her room and looked out the second-story window to see a man in a dirty undershirt and jeans. He ran down the street before charging back towards Mimi's house, screaming and violently pounding on the front door. He screamed, "Maria, give me my damn PlayStation!" Mimi quickly called the cops, afraid the man was going to break down the door. When the cops arrived, they discovered that the man was high from huffing cans of spray paint. As soon as her mom came home, Mimi told her what happened. Her mom gave her a can of pepper spray in case anything like that ever happened again. Huge thanks for the folks over on our Planet Dolan subreddit for submitting their stories. We have another question for you. What was your scariest babysitting experience? Let us know on the Reddit page linked below, and you might be featured in a future countdown. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care, everybody. Peace.